What is up, YouTube? My name is Raji Reddy, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a fourth-year medical student who just matched into orthopedic surgery at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City. So I'm making this video because the landscape of residency applications is changing. Every year, the match gets harder and harder, and it's becoming more difficult for students to really differentiate themselves on residency applications. I think things like scoring well on your boards, honoring as many clinical rotations as possible, and having great research are all important, but those things are not enough anymore to really differentiate yourself in a pool of really competitive applicants. So I think you have to be strategic in key areas of your application and take things one step further. So these are 5 things that you can do to stand out in your residency applications. The first way to really stand out on your residency applications is to have really strong letters of recommendation. I personally think that the letters of recommendation are one of the most important aspects of the application, and they were brought up in every single one of the residency interviews that I actually had. I think program directors as a whole just tend to read a lot of generic sounding letters that don't really highlight an applicant's personality, work ethic, and potential. So whenever they do read one that's really laudatory, I think it can really elevate you above all the other applicants. And this is especially true if that letter comes from somebody that they know in the field or somebody who's just well-renowned in the field in general. So my advice for younger medical students is to really foster those relationships with faculty early on and then develop them so that when it comes time to write letters of recommendation, they can really speak to who you are. I'm going to make a follow-up video about how to strategize letters of recommendation, so be on the lookout for that as well. The second way to really set yourself apart in residency apps is to have unique experiences and hobbies outside of medicine. I think we tend to forget that residency is about working in a team, and the people who are in charge of admissions really want to take people who have diverse experiences, who are interesting and fun to be around in general. And I think a good way to showcase that is by putting your unique hobbies and interests onto your ERAS application. And these things don't have to be crazy impressive or out of the box. During my research year, I worked at an ice cream shop, and I put that on my ERAS application, and people loved it. They would always ask me what my favorite ice cream flavor was, or any funny customer experiences. And so it not only helps to get you an interview, but also helps make the interview more fun and more of a conversation than an interrogation. And I know during the 2023-2024 residency app cycle, ERAS didn't have a hobby section, but they're actually bringing that back for this upcoming cycle. So that's a great place to showcase your interests and hobbies and try to differentiate yourself from other people. So my third tip for standing out on your residency applications is to have a couple unifying themes to your application. So in a pool of competitive applicants, every single applicant is going to have a ton of extracurriculars that are all really impressive sounding. But the ones that really set themselves apart are the people that have a couple unifying themes that tie in all of their extracurricular activities, whether it be through service, global health, mentorship, whatever it is. And I think this is a great way of telling the program director, hey, look, this is what I'm overall passionate about, and this is what I hope to pursue in my career. And so that takes you from an applicant that is just well-rounded to an applicant that has a specific niche that they're going to pursue. And I think program directors really want to see somebody that's passionate about a specific area, because that's what gives diversity to the whole residency program. Let me give you an example. So my friend is really interested in women's health, and she does a bunch of these different activities, but they're all tied under that umbrella of women's health. So for example, she has done mission trips abroad where she helped deliver gynecologic care to women in that country. She also has developed a program that helps refugees assimilate into American culture, focusing on women in particular. She is the coordinator for the women's shelter here in Pittsburgh, and she also does orthopedic research where she focuses on anatomic differences between males and females and how it pertains to surgical decision making. So when it comes time to apply, she's going to be known as a great, well-rounded applicant, but also somebody that has a niche in women's health, and that can really help her stand out in a sea of applicants that have a ton of extracurriculars that are just kind of pieced together. Tip number 4 is to personalize your personal statements to specific programs that you really want to go to. I think in a world of signaling, every single person that applies to these programs obviously really wants to go to these programs, but the way that you can show programs that you've done extra research about them or really know and are invested about that program is by personalizing your personal statement to them. And the way you can do that is by adding a paragraph at the end of the personal statement that talks about reasons why you want to go to that program, why you think they're a good fit, and how you see yourself fitting into that program. And I wouldn't do this for every single program that you apply to, but only a handful where you really know a lot about that program beyond the surface level stuff of what you can find on that website. So this can be programs where you did an away rotation, or programs where you know somebody that's in that program that can tell you more about it beyond the just surface generic stuff. My fifth and final tip is to really focus in on your MSPE. For those of you who don't know, the MSPE is sort of a summary of all the accomplishments that you've had throughout medical school. And it's a document that's written by you and your medical school that has your clinical grades, it has a summation of your research, and also it provides a rundown of who you are as a person, what your accomplishments are, and what your interests are. And the first part of the MSPE is a couple bullet points that talks about your background, what your interests are, what you've accomplished so far in medical school, and what you hope to accomplish in your career in the future. And because program directors just have so many applications to read, I really do think they use the MSPE as a way of sort of narrowing down which applicants they're really interested in. So please take time with your medical school and really craft a story that presents you in the best light possible, because I think that is what a lot of people use to sort of get the quick and dirty about who you are and your potential as an applicant. And those were my 5 tips on how to stand out in your residency applications. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a bunch more videos about tips for medical students as they navigate residency applications and just medical school in general. And I'm also going to be hoping to do videos about what life in residency is like, so be on the lookout for that as well. Thank you guys.